Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to whenever you're listening to us. We are the Imaginary Friends. I'm James.
And I'm Ben.
And we want to talk some Malifaux. So, Ben, what is on your agenda for today?
So we'll touch base on the European League, but quite brief because it's still very early on.
It is.
And then I want to go back to a bit of basics, literally for the podcast, and talk about some fundamental skills and some observations of what perhaps newer players sometimes get wrong.
Love it.
So, what are you playing in Europe?
Well, as promised, I'm taking Resurrectionists.
And have you arranged any games?
Had one game, we had to push it back because my opponent's computer died a horrible death.
Was that after you killed their master turn 1?
No, it was about half an hour before the game.
Okay.
So the smack talk I've been giving obviously had really paid off.
Yeah.
And he was so intimidated he felt we needed some more prep time.
That's understandable.
But no, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to try some masters I haven't tried before, or certainly have played very little of. So I'm playing some Molly 2 in my first game, which would be really cool because I don't really see much of her.
No, but she's got quite a lot of potential, I think.
I hope so. A lot of
Are
cool...
you going to cheat less this game?
I'm certainly going to try and cheat less, yes.
So, for those that look at Molly 2 and think she's really cool...
And she is.
She is really cool. There's a really key word in her crew card ability. It's the word unique.
Yeah, I just skim over that.
Which is sort of a slightly weird thing in how the crew's balanced, because the flying bird things benefit from that really well if you're allowed to.
Yeah.
And your unique models, it's a bit harder to plan out a path of how they're going to do things because they're all a bit more unique, a bit more expensive. So I think the potential's still there, but it's a bit harder than what it looks like.
Yeah, it's interesting. The order of activation is going to be quite weird, I think. Because in some ways you need some of your unique models to go to make use of the ability to spend stones to copy actions, is what you're referring to. So yeah, order of activation is going to be a bit odd. But I've managed to get around that a little bit by taking very few stones, so I probably won't use that ability early on, so I won't...
Or you'll just spend all your stones turn 1. And then not have to think about it the rest of the game.
Both very, very valid options.
Because you'll see a thing and go, oh, that's really cool, I can do that.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, oh, do it. And then...
Do it again and do it again. Oh, I'm out of stones.
Yeah. So I learned an important lesson this week.
Excellent.
It's read what scenario you're playing.
I can see how it'd be useful.
So it all kind of went a bit wrong. So I'm going to be very clear. I am blaming it entirely myself.
Good.
However,
hold on.
the reason that I made the mistake was I read the order on Longshanks backwards.
Yep.
So the one at the top was game 3.
It was.
The one in the middle was game 2, which I was agreed on. The one in the middle being game 2, I was okay with.
You're happy with that one?
Yeah. So I'd arranged a game with because you can play all 3 people in your group stage in the next 6 weeks.
Yes.
So I thought I was playing one chap.
Yep.
Very nice man. And I was playing him in game 3 on corner boundary.
Okay.
I thought we were playing flank bombs.
2 very different missions.
Very different missions. So I made a list and I put quite a lot of thought into how I was going to play, because I'm playing a new faction, I'm playing Arcanists, I've never really played them before.
Awesome.
So I put a bit of thought into how I was going to play flank bombs. I realised fairly close to the game that actually we were playing corner boundary. And actually that's unfair. I actually just realised we were playing boundary and I didn't pick up on the fact that we were playing corner.
Because corner boundary is very, very different to flank boundary in that you need 3 interactions per marker to get them over the halfway line rather than the standard 2.
Yeah, so I brought the list that I'd planned to play because I got myself hyped up to play it.
Okay.
So I was like, I wanted to play it.
Played the list you wanted to. That's really good advice.
It's terrible advice. Don't do it.
We said to do just that.
We said to play the master you want to play,
okay.
but you still need to change your list so you're not playing a team of models that don't have bonus actions 8 wide on boundary corner.
So, if I were to make a prediction, I would say you probably killed a fair few models, but just got completely overrun on scenario.
Yes.
Yeah.
I killed quite a lot.
That is your thing.
Well, it was more I didn't do anything else. Yeah, so Ladon played it great. It was perhaps if my deck had bailed me out, I could have had an undeserved victory. But rest assured, there was no risk of that.
Good.
So the just and right outcome came. And not only content with playing the wrong list for the mission, I decided to play it badly as well.
Fantastic.
So to use the previous metaphor of you driving the plane down the runway,
yes.
yeah, I decided to do a handbrake turn on the runway and go down a different runway.
So you went just down the wrong runway in total.
Oh, it was horrendous.
Beautiful.
So I'm not playing Karis even on the mission that I thought I was playing her.
So your flank bombs mission that you'd planned and you thought a lot about this, you've now completely changed and...
Yeah, I'm playing Colette instead.
Fair. But Colette's really cool and really good on bombs, so...
Well, she is, but I'm not playing that Colette.
So you're not playing the really good on bombs, Colette?
I've decided I want to try and race England for who leaves the group stage first.
Well, England
England
got out of the group stage.
Sorry, it gets out of the competition.
Outrageous!
So I'm playing Smuggler. I think Smuggler's really cool.
She is.
And I don't like the totem in Colette 1.
The birds are awesome. There's 3 free stones.
Yeah, that's not a... What would you call it? Is totem a 7-point model now?
9 health. Yeah, 7-8 points normally.
Yeah, so 3 birds that don't do anything. Though when I fight against her, they're always really annoying because they're def 6.
They are, and they're minions, not
and
peons.
so they stand on things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I just need to hit the def 6 thing, and I never do.
And they can blow themselves up and do some nice splash damage, which is always hilarious.
Great, to finish them off from all your beaters in Colette.
Yeah, Colette's brutal because you have the that really good beater in keyword.
Yes, the emissary.
Yeah, there's not a single min 3 beater in Colette's actual keyword, is there?
No.
No.
You have the Shadowlark.
Min 2.
You have the Sandworm.
The sandworm's not in keyword.
It totally is.
No.
Shall I give away my list? Is there a
sandworm in it by any
There is
chance?
a sandworm in it.
Sandworm.
Oh no, she does have bin 3 beta. Cassandra.
Yeah, Cassandra is min 3, isn't she?
She only gets 2 attacks.
She does.
But they do get to choose whether they're hitting against defense or willpower.
Which is really cool.
But I'm really excited to play Colette, probably Colette 1, on Recover Evidence.
You've said this to me before.
And
Tell listeners why.
Well, no one will expect it.
That's for sure.
So Handful of Snakes got me thinking when I first played him last year, and this was before he was an MWS champion.
Okay, cool.
And he played Lucy 2 into me on Recover Evidence, and then proceeded to ignore the strat completely and just play scenario.
Okay.
And this got me thinking, what if you go into Recover Evidence, try and just go even on the strat to draw it, and then if you just run away from them, there's nothing in the strat that makes you stay or come into the middle or fight them.
No, certainly not after the first point has been scored.
So you score that each, and then you draw it. So if you draw the strat every turn, and then they're playing a really killy bubble crew, and you're playing a relatively live crew, you can then score 6 on the schemes, stop them scheming at key points to avoid your models dying, and just run away from them the whole game and win on schemes.
Okay.
So I've not managed to recreate this, and to be fair, Handful of Snakes didn't manage to get it to work against me either.
Okay.
But I felt that there's potential there, and I think it has to be the right list. Because you need a team that's mobile, you need a team that's resilient, that can score, but also, and I think the trick is to try and force them to split up and then still go for kills.
And you think the dancers are your resilient crew to do this with?
Yes, because decoy markers are really good.
They are.
So I think if you go more into positioning, you don't take 3 showgirls. You take the emissary, you take the Shadowlark, you take Cassandra, and then suddenly you're trying to dislodge defense 6 models that when you hit them can teleport to one of 2 or 3 different markers that are around them, which counts as armour as well. And then so suddenly you've got a crew that's got a really good kidnap, because obviously collect can presto change someone.
Love presto.
And then beat them to death with sort of...
Do doves leave markers when they die? They don't, do they? Because they are insignificant.
Correct. So you can run a bird up, presto change someone, and then beat them to death, and then if you can just kill 1 or 2 models, and then you should have easier time scoring than they do. So I say it needs a lot of practice. I won't be taking it to Scotland, but it's something that I do want to explore.
Sounds good.
Right. Shall we go into something that's actually helpful, rather than the inane ramblings of a madman?
Yes. Sounds like a plan.
So I played against a couple of people in Poland who told me that they were newer players. I think the really interesting thing here is that we don't necessarily remember, because it was so long ago, last month, what it was like as new players.
Yeah.
And so it's quite helpful to have played against it with an eye off the podcast, which was obviously the only reason I went to Poland.
Absolutely.
And to try and see what is it that we can actually help people with. And I think the key thing, and oddly, considering Malifaux has a library of rules, everyone that I played, even the ones that were like, oh, I've not played 4th edition yet, I've not played, or I'm brand new or whatever, they all know what their crew does.
Fair.
And they might not necessarily not know what your crew does.
Yeah.
And there's probably a bit of bravado where you just sit there and watch them push their models around and go, yeah, of course I know that that's what that does.
Yeah.
I'm sure we've both been there.
We've still done that.
But the thing that struck me the most was perhaps timing.
Okay.
And that's... We've talked about the many activations that make up a game.
Yeah.
The 32 actions or 38 actions, activations that make up a game. And some of those are going to be more important than others.
Yes.
And it felt like sometimes they were being blown around in the wind. So they would start off with sort of maybe what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I would do something outrageous.
Shocker.
And then they would just respond to it. So it might be... you move a model up and you shoot something.
Okay.
And then at the point of you moving and you shooting your random 14-inch range gun that does 1 damage or 2 damage or whatever, and you get a good flip, you flip a 13, they flip a 6, you're getting a raise, and you're doing 3 damage to something, they suddenly feel the need to cheat their cards in.
Yep.
And yes, at that point, that thing feels relevant.
It feels like that's the most important thing that is happening at the minute, isn't it?
Or if your opponent is doing something, I must stop it.
Yep.
And I go back to if your model's being lured, it's far easier to let it go off and then just lure them back.
Yeah.
Than it is to try and cheat your 13 in, or you cheat their 12 and they flip their 13 in, and just let it happen.
And then react after.
Or at least that'd be cheaper. So yeah, it certainly felt like, and I didn't really play on it because A, it's a bit mean, but B, I didn't need to. But it felt like I was sort of exploring and sort of going like, oh, I've got these random activations that I need to do, and I guess I'll just go and do this thing. And they were slowly progressing my game plan. It was things like I'll put models on their strat to stop them moving it or whatever. But it just felt like they weren't able to prioritise what activations mattered and what didn't.
Okay, so if we could give some advice then, so for newer or maybe still players that are still looking to massively improve their game, so what could they do differently? So
it kind of has the so what test.
Okay.
And it's what is the consequences for letting this happen.
My model's going to get injured and it might die in 4 more shots.
Yeah. Or even, and we raise the stakes, your model's being one shot.
Yeah.
And there are certainly times where the correct play is to go, yeah, didn't want that model anyway.
We've both said that in the past, I believe.
So I think we've got to take a step back. Let's look at cheating cards.
Yep.
Because I think the first topic kind of leads into the second.
Okay.
So you've got a defense 5 model.
Yep.
And you've got a stat 6 attacker coming in.
Rude.
You have 9 health. It's a min 3. So the first thing here is that you're thinking, okay, I suppose the very first thing is, have I activated this model already?
Yeah.
Is this the beginning of turn 2 and I've already activated it? At which point, your value you give this model is a lot less.
Yeah, it's already had half its possible activations across the entire game.
But also in terms of this explosive turn before next turn, it's not contributing anyway.
No.
So it probably isn't forming a part of my plans.
Okay.
So the next thing to consider is if they're a min 3 coming in and they're doing 9 damage pseudo-reliably, but they need to get all 9 damage through, the first thing to think is that if they get 1 or 2 raises, you don't care. Because if they hit you for 5 and then hit you for 3, they still need a third attack to kill you.
Absolutely.
So when you're cheating to deny raises, you need to consider, is this actually moving the needle?
Yeah, does it affect the amount of AP that's actually needed to kill my model?
Yeah, are they killing you in 2, are they killing you in 3, are they killing you in 4, whatever. You need to obviously remember whether they have the option to cheat in for crit strike or all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to, if you're def 5 and they're stat 6 and you lose the initial flip,
as you are more likely to do.
Sure, but not hugely likely.
Yeah.
I don't know what the odds are, but it's going to be, what, 4
about
to 5?
16%.
Okay. I wouldn't cheat. As a general rule, if you're at stat disadvantage, don't cheat first. Now, if they cheat a 10 in, and you want to cheat a 12 in to keep your model alive, absolutely. Fine.
Yeah.
But if you cheat first, and they have a hand, you've both got 4 cards in hand, you don't know what their cards are, unless that model is absolutely critical for your game plan, you need to just let it die. Because if you cheat in your 12 and they cheat in their 12, it's so backbreaking. Because they've got that attack through and you've lost your card. Now, if you win the first flip and they cheat in a low card, then okay, fair enough. Now, let's say you can draw it. That might be enough to keep your model alive.
Yeah, if it's that 9 health, 3 lots of 3 damage.
Yeah, but you've also got to think about the rest of your hand. So if it's the first attack, they cheat first, and they cheat a 11 in, and you've got a 12, I wouldn't flip it on the first one. And the reason for that is, yes, it might move the needle, in the sense that it could take it into that needing 4 hits that's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
But you don't know if they're going to get raises on the second or third attack.
Yeah, they've still got 2 more swings at you.
And all they need to do is get that 1 raise through, and you've already wasted your 12.
Yeah.
So I would probably let that attack through with a raise, maybe in 2 raises even.
Yeah.
Keep your 12, and then, because it may be they don't have the cards to keep backing it up.
Yep.
And then maybe on the third one, if they've had to cheat already, then if it's the choice of life or death, you might consider cheating the 12 in and seeing, do they have the card to beat it.
Yeah.
But again, if the model isn't particularly important,
yeah,
you know, if it's not your master, it's not a really high valuable piece, it's a 7-point model that you'd hoped was going to go drop a bomb or pick a bomb up or do something, it's probably not worth that 12.
Yeah.
And something else that you're going to do is going to be wanting that 12.
For sure.
So, yeah, be more ruthless, guys. Let your models die. But, now here's the big but, there are also times where all of what I just said don't apply.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they're the times where you go, I'm relying on this model to win me the game.
Yes, I need this model.
I need this model who's going to score me a 2-point swing, is going to score the strat, is going to deny them the strat or whatever.
Yeah.
And in those times, you cheat the highest card you have, and you go, do you have a card to beat it?
Yeah.
And I've definitely had games where I've had nothing in my hand higher than an 8, but because I was stat 6 against defense 5, and they're going, oh, this is the game-winning play, and I've just had to go in and I've flipped a 10, and they're going, oh, I didn't want to cheat my 13 in because I didn't want to lose my 13 to your 12.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I didn't have a 12.
No.
So all of the previous rules of efficiency apply for, 80% of the game.
Yeah, probably.
And then you're going to have those times where you've identified, and I've identified, that's why I'm going for it, that this is the key play that's possibly going to decide the game or hugely important.
Yeah.
And it's going to have consequences for the next 3 turns or all the rest of it. And at that point, you cheat the highest card you have, and you grin and bear it and say, let's see a 13.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Let's see you beat him.
Right. What to do if you have a terrible hand, James? We're still working on that one.
We are. I mean, I've had a few games recently where I've had 7 high, 8 high, and I've just sat there watching my models get taken off the board. And yeah, you kind of just...
You are more likely to flip well, though, James, because all the high cards are still in your deck.
Statistically, yes, but because it's a 54 card deck, 7 cards out of that 54, it doesn't make the biggest impact early on is the issue.
You do see, though, no, certainly not with when you look at that terrible hand and all you can tell yourself is, oh, it's okay, I'll flip really well. And then you proceed to flip really badly.
Yeah, so many times.
But you then do get to that point in the turn where all the severes start coming up.
Yes. And you kind of just have to kind of suck it up and go, look, yes, models are going to die, but it's Malifaux. Models generally always die.
Mine don't.
That's because you're busy killing the others while they're running around scheming past you, scoring 11 points against you.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I think if you're playing a fairly even match where you're going to kill some stuff and they're going to kill some stuff, having your stuff die is not the end of the world. It gives you stones to do stuff with. I think that's a really nice aspect of 4th, in that you actually gain stones back when models die, so it's less of a hit.
Yeah, so I think if you think it's what they got left. So if they go with their master top of turn and they go and kill something, that's only a problem if you're not doing something in the whole of the turn that's equal to that.
Yeah.
So if they go and kill a 7-point model, and ideally they've had to cheat some high cards in to get it through, and you go, okay, I'll just go kill your 7-point model, and then who cares? Yeah. So, and that probably is far easier than trying to keep your model alive.
Keep a 7-point model alive against a master beating you facing, absolutely.
So there's certainly sunk cost fallacy.
Yep.
And you have to take that step back, and just because you've cheated 3 cards to keep someone alive, that 4th card might not be worth it.
Yeah, had that. You've committed, you've empowered, and you've cheated, and before you know it, you've spent 6 cards trying to keep this model alive, and it dies nonetheless.
Unless it is that important point.
Unless it is
At which point you cheat all 7 cards.
You use everything you've got.
Right, so if we come back to timings.
Yep.
And we go, you've got your 7-card hand to last you the whole game.
Yep.
And now this chap was playing Wong.
Okay.
And what inevitably happened was, so he had the red and I think a 13 in his hand, and I think I went to put slow on hopscotch.
Okay.
So I think it was the warden, who, as listeners to the podcast know, the wardens go in first.
Yeah.
So the warden had just tried to slow hopscotch, which is a perfectly reasonable thing to do.
Absolutely.
And I think I flipped to 12.
Woo!
And he cheated the red to stop it.
Result.
And I was like, you do that. You do that. And the thing that made that even more nuanced is it really didn't matter because I wasn't planning on hopscotch ever getting to activate again. So Hopscotch had activated turn 2
Yeah.
and had overcommitted into my team, and I was playing Dashel.
Okay.
So I was thinking...
It's a dead frog.
It's a dead frog. And it had come in very early in the turn, so we'll get onto that, because we talked about that a lot before.
Yeah.
So Hopscotch had come in and had gone straight down the middle, and I'd gone, okay, you do that. So I'd slowed it to see if I could slow it, because there was nothing else to slow. And yeah, cheating in the red was huge, but actually the slow wasn't going to matter because I was going to be trying to kill the frog, so the red would have been far more impactful. Trying to keep, if I cheated a 13, the frog's f6, that red would have been really awkward to overcome.
Or just to kill something back, because the red joker offensively gets you the raise, gets you whatever suit you want.
Yeah,
it's really good.
So, and that's kind of what got me talking about it today. So at that time, in that 7-second decision making, having your 10-point model slowed probably feels really bad.
Yeah,
and it is really bad.
It is.
But if they flip a 12, that
good flip, well done.
Frog slowed.
Frog slowed.
And again, it might be that you have a way of removing that, and that's the point of the turn where you start reading through all your cards and looking to see if any of them have a tactical action to remove
Condition removal, absolutely.
But yeah, so just because it feels relevant at the time, and you should, going into a turn, you need to be thinking, what am I trying to achieve out of this turn?
Yeah.
And it may be, I'm probably going to go down on scenario, but I'm going to kill 1 or 2 models. That's probably okay. I suggest you probably want to be scoring a scheme as well.
Yeah.
But if you're scoring the scheme for 1, killing a model, fine. Whatever you're going, I'm going to try and score 3 points. Or whatever it is, if that's your game plan. You need to wonder, is what this flip, this thing that's happening, does it stop me executing that game plan?
Yeah.
So if your plan is to drop 4 bombs and they go in and kill a support model, you probably don't care.
No.
If they're going in and they're killing an unactivated bomb carrier before they get to drop the bomb,
more impactful.
Yeah, you're perhaps thinking, okay, this is far worse.
Yeah.
But obviously that's a lot of information to take in.
Mm.
So probably the simplest way to sum all of that up is just think, what am I trying to do? And is this thing that's happening going to stop me doing that? Or is it just annoying?
Yeah.
And then obviously you have that very fine line between the two where you kind of have to come up with a new plan, but actually coming up with a new plan that's slightly deviating from your original one is probably still easier than stopping whatever's happening.
Yeah.
So did all that make sense, James?
Did to me.
Excellent, good. So what have you picked up on newer players?
So I think it's that idea that what is happening now at this very second is not necessarily the most important thing that is going to happen this turn. And I think if you can manage your plan at the start of the turn, just thinking, what is my aim? What am I trying to achieve? And if they're killing a model that then doesn't impact that, then you grin and bear it.
Yeah, you are a subject matter expert.
I have many models die in most games.
So, is there a mechanic that would allow them to sort of pace the turn, perhaps? That would allow them to preserve last activation?
Oh. Well, that obviously depends on model count, how many models each team has, and obviously how many times they're able to pass activation, Ben.
Yeah, so I find that the newer players don't understand passing.
Is it they don't understand it, or is it they don't understand the power of it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I say they understand the rule, I'm sure. Yeah, so we've talked at length before about the significance of having first activation or last.
Yeah.
And you kind of need to decide which one you want.
Agreed.
So if you have more models than them, you don't have a lot of choice.
You got no control over it at all.
You're getting what you're given.
Yeah.
Now, if you have the same, then you have control.
Yeah, same or lower.
Same or lower. But you need to be very careful, because if you're lower and then you pass,
Yeah.
then they're now even, or you kill a wrong model.
Yeah, it's that times where you're controlling that order of activation and you accidentally kill an unactivated model, and all of a sudden your opponent now has that control.
Oh, I found with Karis, her token removal compulsory summons a spider peon.
It does indeed.
And I was like, I really want to take slow off Howard, but I don't want to give up first activation.
That's really funny.
So you might spend the whole of the turn thinking, oh, okay, I'm one below, I can think.
Yeah.
And just because you don't want to activate anything, don't pass.
No.
And I've definitely seen times where people have given pass control to me because it was activation 3 and they didn't have, and we talked before about the importance of having cheap activations that you're happy to activate early.
Yes.
But I've definitely had slightly standoffy games, which actually are the ones where first activation matters far more.
Yeah.
They've had pass control, and then they've sat there and gone, I don't want to activate any of these 5 really cool models. I guess I'll pass.
Yeah, because they can't do anything immediately.
They can't do anything.
Which we've spoken about before.
And I go, obviously I have models that I'm prepared to activate because I listen to my own podcast.
You do?
So yeah, just because you don't want to activate something doesn't mean passing is correct.
No, it's that if you have that lower model count and you've got that control over when you pass, if you pass, that identification of, do I want first activation or do I want last activation, I think is really important, and keeping control of that.
So there certainly are circumstances where, say you've got 3 models each, they're all really killy, and whoever goes first is going to lose an activation effectively. At that point, passing might be correct.
But then if you stand back and do nothing, and then they stand back and do nothing,
you're in the same position.
You've now got 2 models left, and you can stand back and do nothing, and then they stand back and do nothing, and then you could pass for last activation and go in, or you could stand back and do nothing, and they have to then commit, but then you get first activation too.
So that ties nicely into what we discussed last time about the chap that overcommitted. So I'd kidnapped the Syzygy sisters,
Yeah.
and he was like, I'll double down.
Yeah.
I'll send Pandora in. And I think, again, is that sunk cost fallacy. You've lost your queen, don't give away your king as well.
Yeah.
And just not committing because you feel you have to, and just take a step back. And I think a lot of what we're talking about today, if you just take a step back and go, do I care that hopscotch is being slowed? No, I don't. Yeah, so just take that step back, try and take a big picture thinking about it. And in terms of passing nearly always should be reserved for first activation or last, which means you. So if you want first activation,
you generally don't pass.
You generally don't pass. If you want last activation, you need to wait until you have 1 model,
and then
when you have 1 model each, that's when you pass.
Yeah.
So you can't pass before that. You have to wait till you have 1.
No. Obviously, if you've got far less models than your opponent possibly summoning lots of models or something like that.
So if there's more than 1 difference, then you can pass fairly safely.
That's it.
And you need to be thinking, if I go early, if I don't go early, will one of my models die? Or can I kill a model unactivated?
Yeah.
Or am I about to be man-marked? Are there models who don't turn your back? And these are all ways of punishing plays that are at the end of the turn or passing. So you certainly need to be looking at the board state and going, okay, my scheme runner needs to push boundary dispute before that model with don't turn your back comes in.
Yeah.
Which means you need to be going early.
Yeah.
But you certainly might get a point where you do those activations and then you pass 3 times and then you wait to the very end and pass once more.
Yeah.
So For the advanced newbies,
Okay, yeah.
we've talked about my zonal positioning metaphor.
Yes, your footballing metaphor, which is I was most impressed by.
It was, for a man who's never watched a game.
Yeah.
So, passing comes in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're trying to decide who you need to activate, they might have a really important model left to go, their master or whatever. But if their master's on the other side of the board, and they've already activated all of the models that are on the left or the models that are in their deployment zone or whatever, if there's no models near them, then you can compartmentalise your thinking. So you want to score breakthrough.
Yep.
They have 2 models that are near to the deployment zone.
Okay.
You have 1 model that can score breakthrough. So I suggest you're probably going to pass with that model.
Yeah.
Ideally until they've activated both of theirs.
Yeah.
Now, if they're sensible, they're not going to.
No, that's it. They'll leave them to mark him.
And the advantage that breakthrough has is that you can't score it last activation.
No, you can't, because it's end after activation, not end of turn.
Correct. So in that state, they probably can deny you breakthrough.
Yeah.
And you can pass all you like, but if they're sensible, they'll go, I'll leave that model until that model's gone to go and stand on the breakthrough point. But what that also means for your opponent is if you go, okay, I'm not going to score it anyway, I'll just activate it, they are now free to activate their 2 models.
Yeah.
Because they're in the same position as you, right? They're looking for which models they can safely activate. So if you think about the zones of influence, that normally happens in turn 4.
I need to get you a Zones of Influence t-shirt, I think, Ben.
Well, speaking of podcast-specific things, we'll then go into our schemes that we've invented.
Oh, yes! This should be interesting.
So, our zones of influence.
Zones of influence.
So turn 4, you have 4 models left.
Yep. Very often I'm used to this.
And they've starburst to the 4 wins.
Obviously.
Do you find that all this comes up and is quite relevant?
Yes.
So what do you find is really important in this position?
So I will often pass, because obviously my opponent's still got like 8 models left, because I've obviously not killed anything. And I've got 4 models, so I'll pass until I'll maintain control, because generally speaking I still want last activation. And it's that case of when they activate a model that is close to my model, then my model will activate. Because then they can do whatever they want safely. They can go jump across a rooftop and put a scheme down miles away from the other unactivated models. So it is your zones of influence, Ben, and it is this idea that you want your models to be able to do what they want to do without hindrance.
So if you're having to deal with this nonsense, there's a few things you can do.
Yep.
So one is don't turn it back.
Absolutely.
Which is fantastic.
Phenomenal.
And if there's a model on its own, standing in a zone of influence all by themselves with no support, you go over and you stand there and you go, lol.
Yeah, just wave at them.
And
sometimes you don't even want to hit them in case they've got defensive tech to run away.
Butterfly jump, yeah, you don't charge, you just double walk.
Just stand next to them and wave.
And they go, oh.
Yeah.
The other thing that is a bit more nuanced is the opposite of what we just said, and that's bashing their head in.
Yep.
So if a model's got 9 health, you're sitting there fairly comfortable going, you can activate whatever you like. Unless it's a master, I'm not getting one-rounded.
Yeah.
And you might have 2 or 3 models in the zone of influence, so a couple of moderately expensive models. If you go in with one of them and do 5 damage to the model that's standing around waiting to go last,
yep,
that model's got a choice.
Yeah, he's down to 4 health. Is he going to stand and wait for the other guy to come and punch him and just hope that he lives? Or does he have to commit now and do what he wants to do, but with risk of the other guy going and stopping?
Exactly. So if you've got this position where you know that they're controlling activations and you know they're going to be really annoying at the end, you need to just put some damage into them.
That's it. Identify which of his models he wants to go last with.
And if you can get that 7, so you might not one round a master.
No.
But even if you do 5-6 damage to a master,
it can threaten them.
And they go from 14 health to 8, and there's a henchman in the area going...
Min 3, 3 attacks, I can have you.
Yeah.
8 health is doable.
Yeah, or, 1 raise or some crit strikes, and they're looking at their hand going, yeah. So suddenly that's the point where they go, I wanted to go last, but I can't.
Yeah, can't afford to risk it.
So just because your one model can't... Now, obviously, if you've only got one model in the zone of influence, and you've got no other models to come in and threaten them, then obviously this doesn't work.
No.
But if you've got 3 models in the zone of influence, and you might just want to send your cheapest, least flexible, least movable in, fish for maybe empower, fish for some high cards, try and get a raise through. And again, they're not going to want to spend their high cards that they're nursing stopping that 5-point min 2 model doing 3 damage to them.
No, that's a really awkward position to be in.
Probably a feeling you know quite well.
I do. Far too well. Or it's a model that it might have defensive tech that costs a stone, and you're sitting there and this min 2 model swings and hits you and go, I can take that. And they get a raise, and taking 3 go, okay.
Well, they hit you for 2, and then the second attack gets the raise.
That's it.
And you're like, this is only looking like 5 damage.
Yeah.
This is a Nikima with a raise hit.
Yeah, that's painful from a 5-point little minion dude who I didn't fear.
You didn't want him to be of significance.
No. And all of a sudden he's now put some hurt out.
So... what do you think that was helpful? Is there anything else we can cover?
In terms of the topic that we're talking about to help newer players, I think that idea, obviously in the past we've spoken about order of activations and that zones of control and not just throwing models forwards willy-nilly without a plan anyway.
Schemes.
Yeah.
Again, and this all comes down to the same thing, and that's just the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
So... it may be that you have to just let them score 2 on theirs and just go score yours for 2.
Absolutely.
Because if you spend the models trying to stop them, but they score it anyway, and you've now not scored yours...
feels so bad.
You're in a brutally bad position.
Yeah.
So I would suggest that trying to stop them scoring is only normally worth it if you either can't score...
or have already scored.
Or you've already happy that your resources have been allocated to score. And again, zone of influence, search the area. You've got 4 schemes down. You haven't scored it yet, but you've got 2 models that can score it, and they're not going to stop you.
Yeah.
At that point, you can divert the other resources to go do it.
Yep.
But if it's a bit dicey, and it's like you're on take the high ground and you need to find 3 models that need to go stand on some high ground, you probably don't want to send those models
off of high ground
trying to stop them scoring breakthrough. And especially breakthrough where it's a long distance, they're out of position. And again, you want to sequence, so high ground famously goes into making it look like an accident.
It does.
So the worst thing you can do is try and deny them scoring, make it take high ground
by putting all your models on high ground.
Putting all your models on high ground to try and block them. They still score it,
and then immediately
top a turn, or even they don't even need top a turn because you've got so many models on there that they can second activation, third activation, just push you off and score it. So certainly think, are they going to score it anyway? And if they're on high ground, you want to not be on high ground because it goes in to make it look like an accident. Right. How clever are you, James?
Oh, as our readers know, that proves how clever I am. As our listeners know, I am a modern day genius.
But you answered to the word James, which is an improvement.
Yes.
So, what themes were you thinking about? We were brainstorming for your scheme that you invented.
Yes.
And I think it was harder than I gave weird credit for.
Yeah, I would concur. So, yes, for those that didn't listen to last week's podcast, go listen to it. But Ben and I just for fun, kicks and giggles more than anything else, decided we would create our own schemes.
Because we know better than weird.
Absolutely.
We've ran a podcast for 3 weeks, and therefore we're experts.
Obviously. So what did we decide on? So I was thinking...
So before you say your scheme, what thought processes did you go through?
Killy, schemy, positioning part of the board, model control, and a lot of thought went into the name of the scheme once I decided on how I wanted it to be scored.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So I started with a name
Okay.
and I couldn't make it work. So I wanted, the shell game where you have the 3 cups and then you have the
Yes.
thing. I wanted a shell game scheme
Okay.
where you choose 3 models and I didn't really get past that. But the design space that I was thinking of. What if there was a scheme where you told them what scheme you're on?
Yeah.
And you have this bluffing element.
Okay.
So you at the start of the turn go, I'm on shell game, I pick these 3 models, go.
Nice.
Go. And this is a design space they've not really gone into because the schemes are designed to, even if you know exactly what scheme they're on, because no one takes grave robbing. But
certainly not turn 1.
But this sort of, what if you did tell them what your scheme was and then they had this little mini game to play with.
Okay.
But in terms of a name, I really liked it, but I didn't really balance it. I was then looking at some kind of feat of athleticism, which sort of I had this sort of long jump idea.
Okay.
Where you would score the first point by making a leap of X inches, say 7 inches or something, or even 6 inches. So you score the first point by leaping 6, and then you have to maintain the highest jump to score the second. So if your opponent can then make an 8-inch jump, they're winning the long jump.
Okay.
I decided this was a bit pants. So
I like the idea. Would something like a place, because that's almost a literal jump.
No, it has to be a
jump.
height 2 to height 2 or whatever jump.
Okay.
And again, I was thinking in terms of what if you had some kind of sort of how far you could move. And the problem with that was that Secret Passage then just becomes even better than it already is.
Yes.
But in terms of the jump rules, I liked, and actually this sort of I've got the longest jump. But then you have this having to remember a number, which again is a design space, which I think players would certainly manage. Because bear in mind that in real games we don't mark who's activated.
No.
And I've never once, or maybe once in 50 games, gone, oh, I've forgotten who's activated.
Yeah,
sometimes you have to count
There's not enough models on the board to really...
So actually, as players, we do process a lot of information, and I'm sure we could remember, you could put a dice, jump 6, or jump 7, or whatever. The main thing against it that I didn't like, and I think schemes should be scoreable by all teams.
Yeah.
And I suppose the only one, the exception being, would be something like, what's the minion one? 2 minions marking.
What's it called? Public demo.
Public demo, which arguably isn't scoreable by all teams. So if you take an all unique team,
every keyword can score it.
Okay, yeah. So, and in terms of the jumping, it was not all models, unless you have access to hasten or whatever, would be able to. So if you made it, they had to be a 6-inch jump, but then if they have a 7-inch jump, they stop it or whatever. And I think I probably would have preferred it have to be a 7-inch to make it slightly more interesting. But then not all crews can score it.
No, not all crews have a move 7 model.
Yeah, so maybe it would have to be speed 6, and then they have to try and beat it. Anyway, so some interesting ideas.
Nice ideas.
And did you have any ideas that got discarded?
A fair few, including ones that had already been used in previous editions.
Oh, I didn't look.
So I didn't look, but I thought of some that came to mind, like putting ski markers on the centre line on the table edge with models either side. Then I went, hold on, that was a Mark III scheme in like GG2 or something. So that, I don't want to just steal that.
Did you find that the second point was a bit more repetitive?
I tried not to. So in some ways I thought I want a relatively easy to score first point with a potentially harder to score second point. Now, I'm not sure I actually achieved that in the end. But I still like the idea of the scheme that I came up with. So
okay, so go with your name first.
Sabotage infrastructure.
Okay, so is this terrain based?
It is terrain based.
Okay, so does this involve you being on the ground level of a height thing rather than on top of it.
Not quite. It's more of where would if you're fighting a war, where is your infrastructure? Is it in the middle of the battlefield?
It's at the back.
It's at the back in your deployment zone. So it's having to make sure you got into the enemy's deployment zone.
So breakthrough.
Similar. So I went with reveal the scheme at the end of the turn.
Oh, more importantly, until I reminded you yesterday, had you remembered to think of anything?
Obviously not.
Good.
So, end of the turn. So, during the turn, you have to pick a piece of terrain in the enemy deployment zone.
During the turn? Or the beginning?
At the beginning of the turn.
Yeah. So you pre-declare.
Pre-declare. So, you have to right, that's the piece of terrain that I'm going to sabotage. Now, the terrain has to be in the enemy deployment zone.
Completely in or in?
In.
Okay.
So you get...
So the river.
You get 1 VP if you have 2 ski markers within 1 inch of that piece of terrain, and neither marker is within 2 of an enemy model.
Okay.
So potentially easy to score that first point.
Okay.
However, if you want the bonus point, both ski markers must be fully in the enemy deployment zone. That's what I went with.
Okay.
So potentially you could get an easy to score first point, harder to score second point.
Yeah, so if they've got the river that goes across half the board, you go, okay, it's 1 VP, but on corner deployment I'm not getting the other.
Yeah. So it's plausible. So I wanted something that, because there are some...
So if you compare that to breakthrough, is that not an easier breakthrough?
I thought not, because how many times do you go, I'm going to walk, bonus action walk, and drop 1 ski marker in your deployment zone? I thought the 2 made it different. I didn't obviously want 3 because then you're going search the area. So I kind of went in between a number of them. Still obviously stoppable by enemy models. Going, hold on, mate, why are you trying to sabotage my building? And obviously,
if you have that and breakthrough in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was quite interesting as to how they could be played and counterplay and scored at the end of turn, not end of activation. So slightly different to breakthrough.
Is this all the times you failed to score breakthrough because of not having not leaving it to the end?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So you've created a breakthrough that you can score final activation.
Don't know what you're talking about, Ben.
Okay, well, that's cool. I like the imagery. So I perhaps when you have those pokey tiny bits of terrain and you go, oh, I'll sabotage that well.
Yeah.
I suppose sabotaging the well, that works. That
Beautiful
works.
example. Thank you, Ben.
As opposed to the sort of random rock or something.
The rock is possibly less, but who knows how important that lookout rock could be in the enemy deployment zone. Lookout rock.
So I started with names.
Okay.
And then gave up. So I was sort of thinking about what design space, and I sort of was trying to invent new design spaces that I thought might be pushing.
Yeah.
So I thought about what mechanics are in the game.
Okay.
And hence I was thinking about jumping.
Yeah.
I still think long
Very
jump
clever,
has
very...
potential. So I ended up with a... so mine is called Blood Offering.
Okay, sounds... So let's just confirm. So mine was very scheme based, and yours sounds very much you're going to need to do damage and hit somebody.
No.
No?
No, it's self-harming.
Self-harming? We don't encourage self-harming at all in any way, shape or form.
Unless you're scoring Blood Offering. At which point, that's how you score.
Okay.
So the first VP is by doing 1 or more damage to your own model, possibly yourself or an own model, possibly yourself, whilst within 1 of the centre points.
Okay.
So you have your blood ritual in the middle of the board.
So you just jump off a building.
Well, this is it. It worked because it can be scored by all models.
Yeah.
So the jumping rules mean that it's scoreable by all crews.
Is it the model damaged must be within the centre?
Yes.
Okay,
so you then have that point of looking at the board and going, oh, that building is overlooking the centre point.
I'll go jump off it.
Yeah, so obviously not all boards you'd be able to do that on.
Yeah.
And so suddenly a model that can, like a reckless model or something, you can go in and, offer up some blood to the altar, fine.
Okay.
And again, you still have all your leave your mark style, denying line of sight to the centre point, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
The second point is the reverse of grave robbing. You have to interact on your own corpse.
Within one of the centre
Within one of the centre point.
Okay, so you need to get a model killed within one of the centre.
Well, so turn 1, it'd be fairly easy to score 1 point of.
Yep.
Because you just run a model and fall off and take a point of falling damage, or you have a way of scoring it. Or if you're trying to set up for it, you want to create this bloody fight in the middle of the board.
Mm-hmm.
Get your remains marker down within 1, and then you do it. Score your first point, and then you can interact to offer up the corpse. But obviously, if you're a crew that makes remains markers, you're much better at scoring it.
Much easier. But yeah, nothing wrong with that.
So I liked it. I thought it had good imagery.
Okay.
And I liked that you initially offer up some blood and then you offer up a corpse.
Okay.
But I also liked that it was scoreable by all crews.
Yeah.
But crews could be really good at scoring it if you were playing if you're playing Azura or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I think they're
cool
both
idea.
They're both exciting ideas. I'm so glad we're not making a whole GG.
I couldn't imagine, having to. I mean, they don't normally change every scheme. They normally only change.
They have a pool that they go back on.
Yeah, so they might bring back some of the ones from previous editions.
And what were the ones from previous editions that you missed, James?
How
many of them can you remember?
How many can I remember? That's the question.
Apart from the one that you tried to pass off as your own.
So the one that I always try to pass off as my own. So the other one I really liked, which was possibly, I think, the very first scheme I ever took at our very first event down in Brighton when I was playing Collect, which is where you pick 2 models, one of them needs to be injured and the other one can't die. Or one of them dies and the other... So you want to get one of them killed and the other one has to survive.
To be fair, that's almost like my shell game idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably how it should have... What was that scheme called?
Oh, God knows. I'm sure one of our listeners can post a comment and tell us.
Yes.
Prove that you're smarter than us. It's not a high bar.
No.
But yeah, that was always a good fun scheme.
I liked the one that wanted you to be in all the corners.
Yes. Or 3 of the corners.
3 of the corners.
A scheme marker in one of your back corners, and then only one of your back corners in your deployment zone could be scored. So it had to be the other 2.
Yes, when you were playing diagonally, it was awful.
I remember playing Wong on that, and he could launch markers into space and then come down within line of sight. So he could score that from his own deployment zone as long as he had line of sight to the other 2 corners.
Are you saying that you want to go with Wong?
Or with that mission, absolutely, because it's hilarious. Although he's half lost that ability. He used to be able to put 2 anywhere he liked. So he literally went, I've got one in my back corner, I'm going to drop one in that corner and one in that corner, top of turn 2, and go boom, I've scored it. It's great.
Right, you've got 2.5 minutes, James. Think of another scheme to talk about.
Think of another scheme to talk about.
I'm trying to think, is there any, how does our mind just go blank? New edition, all the old schemes.
All the old
gone.
schemes gone out of the mind. Well, I suppose what we really need, and what would be awesome, is if our listeners gave their ideas for new schemes. It'd be really cool to see what else other people come up with. Love to hear and have some more involvement.
And obviously we can go through it together.
Yeah.
And then Weird can listen to our podcast for ideas.
That's it. Beautiful. Done.
The system works.
I'll tell you what, one last thing I will shout out. MWS has an event starting on the 20th.
It has a new committee.
It has a new committee.
And we're done. Bye.